Hello and welcome back to this week's webisode of Fishwick and Associates. This week, we're actually really proud to bring you a special guest who we work with hand in hand quite frequently, Patrick Seward from Pro Digital. And today, John's going to go in a little tit for tat back and forth with Patrick on how we engage with his company. So, John, do you want to go ahead and take it away and start?
I will. Zach, our host with the most, thanks for leading us off. I see Judge Daniel that's here today helping us as well. In a lot of our cases, we've talked about it. We've been fortunate to have some special guests on our webisodes. We've had Senator Tim Kaine, we've had State Senator Creed Eads, and this week we have somebody we work with very closely on a number of our cases. We have civil and criminal cases, and, gathering evidence is a big part of it. And gathering evidence in a digital world is a huge part of the work we do. And so Patrick has a company in Richmond called Pro Digital, and we often reach out to him with cell phones and with computers to help us get evidence. Sometimes it's evidence that our clients have had, or maybe it's from a witness in a case. And so we want to know from text messages and emails from, years back that are really kind of central to our case. And so, Patrick, I'm going to get you to explain a little bit of that. One thing we ask you to do often is a thing called mirror a phone or a computer. What does it mean when we ask you to mirror a phone?
So at a kind of a technical level, the mirroring of the phone is a bit-by-bit copy of the memory of the device, whether it be a phone or a computer. It's a little bit more flexible as far as an exact copy on a phone, just because data is always changing on a phone. But the reason that we get that mirror or that image of the phone or the computer is so that we can work off of that copy, because we try very hard at all costs not to work on the original evidence. So if we can get a verified copy of that evidence, then we can work off the copy and produce whatever is needed for litigation.
Because one of the challenges with that, we never want to destroy evidence. We got to be very careful about that. And so we get the mirrors and then we can work off that. Now, we're often bugging you, Patrick, because we know there's particular texts that we're looking for. And we've even had a case with you where we're looking for Snapchat. My boys always used to tell me, "Oh, Snapchat, there's no record of a Snapchat," and I've lectured them that there's a record of anything. And so with text and with Snapchats and with searches on the internet, if somebody searched, something that could be incriminating on the internet, how do you go about finding those sorts of things? Because I know we bug you about that. And with a number of our cases, you've had great success finding things that other folks have said, well, you're not going to be able to get that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the blanket answer, especially in mobile forensics, is it depends. It depends on the device. It depends on the operating system. It depends on the hardware, the software, all those things. So with certain devices, Snapchat can be quite challenging. The other thing that always happens is that the mobile forensic companies, the tools that we use to get this evidence, they're always playing catch up. So, there's the famous case of the San Bernardino terrorism case where the FBI was going against Apple and they were going back and forth. Well, that's a cat and mouse game that's always happening. So when we're able to get, best practices say that we try to get as much data as possible. So on an Android device, for instance, there are a number of different types of extractions that we'll try to get. And we try to get as much as possible, because it's not necessarily going to get everything in one type of extraction. So that's why sometimes I'll finish up one extraction and do a different extraction on the same device, and they all get kind of combined to show us the most complete view of the data. So when we get that complete view, we're able to do searches, and because Snapchat is a very popular application, so it's supported quite a bit through the mobile forensic tools. So if we're looking for Snapchat per se, we would go in and most of the time that stuff is parsed out. Sometimes we have to look at it manually though. So it can be kind of a challenge. I mean, it all depends on a lot of different factors.
Well, we know you've been successful for us. Now, Daniel, he's always on TikTok around here. I don't know if you've done many searches for TikTok. And Zach's kind of an old school detective. We're bringing him up. He's less in the digital world. He's big on interviewing people and getting the facts. But you bring it in a format for Zach to look at. Zach, we get it in off this Cellbrite thing. What do we do with that sort of information when Patrick sends it to us?
Absolutely. So, Patrick will send us a report that's highly user-friendly, readable, and it's broken down into certain sections. And just speaking purely in layman's terms, it's got your pictures, your emails, your text messages, anything and everything you'd want to look. So if I have like specific people's names or phone numbers. I just cue that in, and it will bring up anything associated with those names or numbers. And then I literally just click a box and I hit export, and then I can export it to a Word or a PDF format for us to use, in our own client docs later on down the line.
Yeah, it's very helpful. And so Patrick, for us, we are usually in big cases, both civil and criminal cases, and often the digital evidence is critical. And I think some of your background really assists us with the work that you do for us, because Patrick, you've got a background in law enforcement. So I think and now you've also worked on the defense side and plaintiff side and civil cases. So you tell us a little bit about and our viewers a little bit about your courtroom experience.
Yeah, so starting with in law enforcement, of course, as a law enforcement officer, you testify, whether it be in general district or circuit court, regularly. And so, that kind of got put my feet to the fire. And of course, you had to come up through the ranks in terms of the types of cases that you're working. Since I launched Pro Digital about 7 years ago, I've gotten a lot more experience testifying in circuit courts all throughout Virginia and Maryland, and I'm retained on cases all throughout the country. Certain types of the specialties that I try to market out are things like cellular call detail records, analysis and mapping of those, and so there are very few private sector experts that do that. So I'll get cases from all over the country involving that type of evidence. But generally, I find that the more well prepared we are, in this case, you and I, John, going into the courtroom ahead of time, about what we're going to talk about, what the potential pitfalls are, all that stuff, all that preparation is key. And I've learned that I'm not sure you can even over prepare for it, because there's always, when it comes to opposing counsel, judges, juries, there's always a little bit of a wild card there. So the preparation is key, and it's always great to work with people that are willing to do that with you.
Well, thank you, Patrick. It's a pleasure for us to work with you. Yes, preparation is obviously the key to success in anything, but obviously in a busy law practice, we are trying to be very well prepared and always are. And your help, we appreciate you being here today. I mean, digital evidence is such a large part of the work that we do, and with our investigations and with proving our cases. So we're grateful for you being here. I think it's been very educational for our viewers, and I think it's kind of a behind the scenes look at the work that you do, but obviously the work that we do. We do a lot of work behind the scenes that people don't do, and we bring in talented folks like you to help us prepare our cases and hopefully to win our cases. So again, thank you so much for being here remotely today on Zoom. We're grateful for that. And Zach, why don't you sign us off this week like you always do?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, Patrick, thank you so much. It's always refreshing to talk to you. You put it in such easy terms for me to understand, the dinosaur I am, as John said. So, again, I appreciate it. And to all of you out there, if you have any questions, for us or for Patrick, you can reach out to him directly. We encourage that, or you can reach out to us. We'll put you in contact with them. And with that said, please like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you guys next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.